Welcome, welcome to step one of the orientation for this course. My approach to philosophy, that is teaching ethics in this case, and or teaching online, may be very different from any educational experience you have had thus far. As such, my expectations and requirements may also be quite different. Hence, I've created this 7-step orientation to make sure you know everything you need to know about this course, my approach, and my expectations, both academic and otherwise. As you work your way through each step, make sure you read and listen to everything and anything I have written in our Blackboard, on a given page, or stated in a given video. I recommend that you follow the order given of what you need to do in terms of this week's orientation. As you know, there are 7 steps. That said, you might have to move on to another step while working on another one. So, for example, let's say you get here to learn about email in this class. You're checking your email. You're making sure that you've got the email on file that you check most regularly. You might run into an issue and require technical assistance. If you require technical assistance in the form of a phone call from a helpline or because you've submitted a ticket, then I don't want you to stall out and not do anything in the orientation. So continue to work through, in this example, you would continue to work through step 3 of the orientation, and while that's in process, you would go on to step 4 of orientation. There's always a logic and an order with respect to how I present things. There certainly is in this case. Another thing that I want to call your attention to and focus just on for just a few minutes that can make a huge difference in your week 1 grade has to do with step 6 of orientation. This is where you'll spend most of your time during week 1. Make sure you read about these different kinds of items that you will find so that you don't lose points because of assumptions you might have about how my jumbled sentence, multiple choice, matching and ordering works. Make sure you don't lose points for multiple answer or fill in the blank because you don't know how these items work in my class. It's very crucial in this class to make sure that you read all of the instructions and all of the directions, and I'm going to call your attention to 2 or 3 ways in which a failure to do so can impact your grade in a major way, while also calling your attention to and giving you just a little bit of a heads up with respect to orientation step 6, which is your Blackboard created, your orientation quiz review. So one thing you'll want to make sure you do from here on out, especially when it comes to writing prompts, is always read the written instructions. Even if I have a video that goes with any kind of writing task, assignment, or element within a task or a writing assignment, there's always going to be 2 dimensions. You're going to have some instructions that are written, and then you're going to have some instructions, elaborations, warnings, tips, additional instructions in a video. So while this gives you some information about what you have to do for item 1 or question 1 of the orientation quiz, step 6, there's also, in this video, there's additional information with further expectations and comments on what I am expecting of you. If you do not follow this video, you may not complete this the way that I have intended for you to complete it, and therefore you may lose points because you don't give me the answer that I am looking for. So make sure you follow this video and that you take notes in doing so. All right, so one major mistake that some students make with my writing prompts or assignments is they'll kind of scan it and they'll decide without reading all of the written instructions and without listening to all of the video-based instructions or lessons that they have a good sense of what I want. But my question is, how can you know for sure that you really know what I want clearly, accurately, and precisely and sufficiently if you haven't listened to the video for additional instructions and videos? Some people rely on their experience with past teachers and past writing assignments. One thing to think about is why rely on the past? The present and the future do not always resemble the past, and that certainly may be the case with your experience in my class. What might have worked for you in another class when it came to reading instructions and following videos for an assignment or task might have worked for you in the past, but may not work for you in the future. The past does not always resemble the future, so be careful with that kind of thinking. So another thing I want to call your attention to as you complete tasks this semester and complete things like this is that you always want to read the entirety of a question, prompt, or STEM. Look at question 2. Use page 1 of the syllabus to determine whether the statements below align with what is stated on that page. Make the best matches. Notice that I'm telling you where to go to find information you need to deal with a relevant question or item. Sometimes I use question, sometimes I use item, sometimes I use prompt, by the way. So this is not meant, this step 6 of orientation is not meant to be a scavenger hunt of you finding information. I tell you where to go to find the information. Of course, you want to pay attention to words like determine which statements below align, right? So pay attention to words like that. Here's another instance where you could lose points. So this says use the information on page 2 so you know where to go. Make sure you read all of these instructions. Make sure you pay attention to particulars. Here it says the 2 competencies stressed in this particular course are, so you're going to page 2 and you're looking for some information that says something about this particular course. We're not going to go through all of these items in a way. I'm just going through, in step 6, I'm just going to go through 2 or 3. So you'll be looking at page 2 to see what is said in particular for this course. You get a list of 5 objectives for philosophy. You get, I think, 6 for the state, and then you get 2 that are particular to this course or that are emphasized in this course. So it really matters that you are very careful and attentive to not only written and video-based instructions, but also the particular wording, the details of any questions and prompts I give you. All right, so as you continue, you will see that I have given you page numbers to go through. Make sure that when you're dealing with something that could be multiple choice, that you're paying attention to the wording. So for example, question 7, it says determine which of the following statements say or says something what? False. So you're looking for something that does not represent the reality of this course as stated on page 5. All right, so let's go to one more item that I want to cover to help you do well, and that has to do with question 12 or item 12. Notice that this is worth 15 points, as is this item, also worth 15 points. Both of these items happen to have videos embedded in them. You will have no idea what you need to do in this text box until you play the video. In the video, I am going to be emphasizing and iterating certain things. A really important thing that a mistake that some students make that sets them back with respect to the course schedule and making progress through the course. And I'm going to give you the prompt in the video. Therefore, it is vital that as you're working through a task or element for this class, that you always read everything just like I've said and look to see if I have a video. Usually if I have a video, I will say follow this video, look at this video, and then you'll see here or click here or video here. And usually that will be underlined. Well, that's all I have for you with respect to your week 1 bundle introduction to the 7-step orientation. I look forward to learning about you and interacting with you throughout the semester.